Breakfast with Dotty McLeod.
BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
Now, more than 300 people attended an online meeting last night hosted by Feargal Sharkey on the future of Cambridgeshire's water supply and the health of its rivers. Last year, the River Cam recorded its lowest April flow rate since records began in 1949. On some days, the flow was recorded at only 1/3 of its usual rate. Wendy Blythe is chair of the Federation of Cambridge Residents Associations and was at last night's meeting. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning, Dotty.
What was
nice
the
to be with you.
headline that you took out of the meeting last night?
Well, my headline was terrifying information about the state of our chalk streams, which was even worse than many of us had imagined. The biodiversity emergency that's taking place right in our backyards. And more, the fact that the negligence and the wickedness of what's taking place, seeing that those supposedly charged with protecting our rivers and our chalk streams are not doing that. The failure of regulation and the agencies, the government agencies responsible for addressing issues it was just appalling. But also knowing too that the politicians, the planners, the university have also known about this and done nothing. I think the fact that so many people registered to attend this meeting, I mean, you say over 300, we had nearly 600 people who actually registered. So a lot of people are very, very concerned about this and feel very strongly about it.
And when you talk, Wendy, about the damage that's being caused to chalk streams and biodiversity, can you just spell out for me a little bit what those impacts are?
Well, I mean, as Feargal showed, the pictures, you can see the state, and I mean the state of the granter. I mean, I myself have seen this. I saw this last year. I went out on a fact-finding expedition with Councillor Katie Thornborough and Rob Mungovan from the Wild Trout Trust and Stephen Tompkins, and you could see for yourself that they're not in good shape. And you could see the levels, the levels of the water. People are tweeting about this all the time now and posting pictures. And, we heard Chris Kington from Cherry Hinton Brook talking about the issues. And it's the fact that, we've got unbridled growth going on all sides.
So what action can be taken?
Well, I think, as Feargal pointed out, we need to put pressure on the politicians. So my first ask would be, I want to know where every councillor stands on the growth agenda in our river. Cambridge City Council has already declared a biodiversity emergency. I want to know the position of the politicians, and I want to know the position of university thought leaders. The kind of growth we're seeing is unsustainable, and it's coming at a massive cost. So,
Wendy, I hear what you're saying, and you've made some powerful points there, and it's good to hear that you've taken a point of progress or action from this meeting last night. I mean, another thing that's come out of it is that 300 people have now been on a Zoom call with Feargal Sharkey, which just seems so bizarre.
Exactly. And the other thing I'd like to highlight is a point that's also been made is, do they think they can buy their way out of this by so-called doubling nature? What, this policy that's been kind of hyped to us that, we can offset all this kind of stuff. Can we, what do they imagine is involved here? Who'll be in charge of monitoring progress towards this goal? And how will it be funded? I mean, as senior ecologists have pointed out to us, academics from Oxford University and a number of other academics have pointed out to us, Germany has more than 40 years' experience of net environmental gain, and it's rarely been an unqualified success. The UK has no experience at all to date. Isn't it unwise to attempt to sell an approach, doubling nature, that is untried and untested, and about which Bridget Smith, South Cambs District Council leader, who's the Oxcamark doubling nature czar, recently admitted being uncertain as to both what it means and how to achieve it. So my point here is, what is the price of a river like the Cam and its chalk streams? Next year we will be hosting the Oxford and Cambridge boat race in our backyard. Those crews start off in the college rowing clubs on the Cam, And the other thing I also want to highlight is that we heard...
Wendy, forgive me, I'm afraid we've run out of time. Wendy Blythe there, who is chair of the Federation of Cambridge Residents Association and was at that meeting last night.